Hello, this is officially the last vlog of the Study Abroad series, and it's going to be in a slightly different format. As you can probably tell by the slight grey background, I've tried to fix with the lamp a bit. I'm back in London, and yeah, I was only abroad for a term. It sort of ended up being about 6 months, but yeah, it flew past. So this vlog is sort of reflecting upon my experiences a little bit more. So due to the flip in term dates, because I went to study at the University of Auckland in New Zealand, Southern Hemisphere term dates meant that I was joining the second term of university. So I left the UK in July. I went to Auckland via Singapore for a few days just to check that out. And then I left New Zealand in early November, and then made my way back to the UK, arriving the day before my lecture starts. And I just want to say it was absolutely amazing. I'd recommend it to everyone. I don't know, maybe it was because I went to New Zealand. It was a beautiful place with some really beautiful people as well, both from New Zealand but also the people at tracks. So I made some great friends. Regarding maturity gains, I can't really quantify that, but I definitely feel like I've gained a bit more independence. And yeah, I got to see a bit more of the world, which is always great. I must say though, it wasn't all plain sailing. I remember right at the beginning, I was quite nervous getting onto the plane, leaving the UK. I knew I was going to be gone for quite a bit of time. I didn't actually have a flight booked returning, so I was gone indefinitely. And yeah, it kind of felt like starting university again. Okay, this time I'd already done it once before. Probably the most challenging thing that I did out there was my dissertation, because I had to approach people and get some interviews, which pushed me out of my comfort zone, but it's always the challenging things that you learn from the most. So yeah, I'm very grateful for the experiences I had. And studying abroad is an absolutely amazing opportunity, especially if you've considered moving abroad at one point in your life. It's a great way to sort of get a little bit of a snapshot of that place. New Zealand for me, I was just attracted by the nature. And the many videos I'd seen of South Island road trips back in the day. And just it's slightly different to travelling, because you actually immerse yourself in the culture, you make friends, you're more grounded in that sense. So you experience a whole new student lifestyle in another place, which is absolutely worthwhile. As English was spoken in New Zealand, maybe it was slightly easier to make friends, both with local Kiwis but also exchange students as well. But there's definitely very tangible benefits of going to a place where English isn't the predominant language, because in that sense you can immerse yourself in a completely new culture and learn a new language along the way, which is a very useful skill. Or practice a language that you are already learning. One of the other biggest positives is that everyone is on the same boat. So you have lots of other exchange students that can sort of help you tackle problems, like for example setting up a bank account or getting a SIM card or a phone number. So yeah, that's really good. And Auckland University especially, they made it very easy to make new friends. So for example, you had lots of events in accommodations, you had lots of events within an exchange student society, and societies generally were absolutely amazing in Auckland. I joined the kayaking club, and we were going on trips every 2 weeks, which was great. But I also had a little stroke of luck as well, so I made most of my very close friends towards the start of my time in Auckland. Academically, the experience was also pretty enriching, because you sort of study your subject in a completely new environment, which brings about a new perspective. Studying geography, which is what I do, in Auckland was really interesting, because they took a bit more of a practical approach rather than a theoretical, which I really enjoyed, and the lectures were more interactive in that sense. I also was able to pick a master's module, which turned out to be my favourite module. Furthermore, it was really valuable to learn more about the context of New Zealand, especially Maori culture, because I was doing my dissertation on Maori rights to nature. So it all fitted in quite nicely in that sense. Beyond academics, one of the most meaningful parts of the experience were the people I met along the way. So I met quite a few Kiwis, who I'll hopefully visit pretty soon. But I also met quite a few other exchange students from across the globe. And with that came different opportunities to travel together, to do some projects. For example, I made a documentary with an American friend, shout out Ben, but also generally just to make memories with new people across the world. Studying abroad can seem very expensive, and whilst it is to a certain extent, There are many different considerations that you could take into account. Firstly, there are some great schemes like student finance have their travel grant. Touring scheme also provides some money, so that takes away from the financial burden. With a bit of budgeting whilst you're there and taking into account living costs before choosing a destination, you tend to break even, especially due to the cost of studying in London. And if you do have a bit of money left over, I would recommend travelling, because once you are in that area, it's good to make the most of it. Especially for me, I went pretty far, so I thought I'd do a little bit of sightseeing whilst I was there. Looking back at it, maybe I should have done a year abroad, because it was one of the greatest 6 months of my life. So yeah, I would recommend considering that if you have the choice. But of course, term abroads are pretty convenient, because you slot straight back into your year back at your host university, UCL, for most of us. With term abroad, the extra little workload is okay, because you end up doing one more module. It's okay. Well, in the case of Auckland, I had a pretty good work-life balance there, and I managed to get my dissertation started. If you have the chance, I really would recommend studying abroad, because yeah, it allows you to experience a whole new place from a student's perspective, which is pretty rare. You don't really get the opportunity to do that many times. And yeah, it made me question where I want to live in the future, which is always a good thing, but also slightly annoying in that sense. I thought I knew I was going to stay in London, but who knows? It's absolutely worth it. So I'd recommend it. You make some great friends along the way, and yeah, you get to see a bit more of the world, which is always a great opportunity.